Hey everyone, welcome back to Bansko Bulgaria. This is a digital nomad hotspot, and we perceive it's going to be an expat hotspot in the future as well. In this area, you can purchase a house for the price of a car, as we showed in our previous episode. And if you haven't checked out our last two episodes, they were on Bansko, so check those videos out. Now, Bansko is booming thanks to this man that started Coworking Bansko. So we're going to take a look at his organization and see how it's impacting the community here, as well as how it's enhancing it. So if you're an expat and you're looking for a growing expat community and looking at living outside of your country in an affordable location, Bansko Bulgaria has a lot to offer. And if you're a digital nomad and you're looking for a place where you can continue to work and meet other people and have a great social life, well, Coworking Bansko has got you covered. So we're going to be meeting up with Matthias as he's going to show us his organization and explain to us about what life is like in Bansko. Now, I do want to let everybody know, if you're following Julie and I as we're traveling with our two dogs, we have finally launched our website. So please go check out warrenjulietravel.com, and at the website we will also provide a services tab. So if you're looking for international medical coverage as an expat or nomad, hit the link there and check out the coverage and select what's right for you. But also take a look at our videos and follow along there. You can also find links to our Facebook group as well as Instagram. So let's go ahead now and sit down with Matthias and talk about Bansko and Coworking Bansko.
Thank you for having us over here today, Matthias. Your operation here is kind of pretty cool, and I think it will really hit home for a lot of our expat as well as nomad community that's following our journey. And
Definitely.
Bansko is probably not on a lot of people's maps, but it's growing. It seems like every time we're turning around and speaking to a nomad, we're hearing about Bansko. And I guess, first off, you're putting Bansko on the map with some festivals that you've been putting together here for digital nomads or nomads. And can you tell us how those got going, and tell us a little bit of background about you and your in the co-working space?
Of course. So, I mean, when I first came to Bansko, we didn't really have any nomads here. So, together with my co-founder Uwe, we decided that we have to create a community for us if we want to have people to play board games with or explore the area. And this is kind of how Coworking Bansko started. Basically having a small place where people can come together. I was a nomad before I started Coworking Bansko, so I had a pretty big network of people that are nomadic, that are working remotely, that can travel. And initially we attracted those people, and then they brought their friends, and this is how it all started. Bansko Nomad Fest is our way how we introduce people to Bansko without asking them to commit to stay here for a few months. Right, so when you normally come to a co-working space, you have to rent an apartment, and now I think Bansko is a little bit more well known, but when we started nobody knew Bansko, and people were like, what would I do in a small rural village in Bulgaria? What do I do if I don't like it? And I committed to be there for months already. And coming to an event is much easier because an event has a start and an end, and you know what's the schedule, and you assume there's some interesting people there. And this is how we started Bansko Nomad Fest. Of course, we started it right in the beginning of the pandemic. So in our first year, nearly no one could travel. So we didn't know until the day before, basically, if anyone could show up. We were about 100 people, and it was really cool. It has also, similar to Coworking Bansko, grown into something much bigger. So this year we were like 550 people. I think next year we will hit 750. My co-organizer Britt is worried that we might hit 1,000, which is also showing us the limits of the place where we are. So Bansko is a tourist village. In the winter there's many tourists here skiing. In the summer there's people going mountain biking and hiking. But for an event of 1,000 people that are here for a week, it's reaching some of the limits of our partners. For example, when you go to restaurants, it's getting harder and harder to find places where we can feed so many people in a certain amount of time.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a good
That's a
a
good
problem
thing.
to have.
Yeah, it means the location's becoming popular, and I think when we first we first got exposed to the whole co-working concept through some of the interviews we've been doing, and the way we found out about Coworking Bansko were from two different interviews. We learned about Matthias. Michael Jose, who we interviewed in Ukraine, has been here. And then we interviewed a family in Montenegro that's nomadic, and they have a home here in Bansko. And they also referred us to come over here and talk to Matthias. So Matthias is kind of the go-to guy here in Bansko. And we even ran into some people on the street yesterday, very nice couple that we plan to interview later about their expat experience living here. And they also had recommended that we needed to come here. So Matthias is like the
Bansko guru.
the heart of the nomad expat community here in Bansko. And I think since we have so many people that are nomadic, this is a great idea, especially those that are digital nomads looking for a place to work. And those that are expats that are looking for a place to maybe home base as they travel. One of the things Julie and I find as we travel, and you guys may be shocked by this, but it can be lonely out there traveling when you don't have a community around you of like-minded expats or people that are willing to share those experiences or go on adventures. And I love doing things with Julie, but sometimes it's fun to be able to meet with people and get out and do some stuff. And that's something we sometimes don't get to have. We try to meet people along the way. But it seems like you're making that pretty easy for people here.
I mean, the whole idea of Coworking Bansko is to build a community for digital nomads and remote people. And I think when you're around a group of like-minded people, then exciting things can happen. So we are providing the infrastructure for this. We are promoting Bansko as a destination to digital nomads. And we are helping the ecosystem to develop. So nomads have a lot of requirements. Everyone was always asking us, how do we find accommodation here for long term? Because there's many hotels, but people want to rent apartments. So initially we created a list with like local hosts, for example. Now this has turned into a website where you can see which apartments are available, where are they located in town, what do they look like. And the pricing is very different than Airbnb, where people still more look for short-term rentals. And there's many examples like this, like also like transportation. I remember when we came here, it was really hard for people to really get here because they didn't know how do I call a driver, not paying the taxi rates in Sofia, but paying a more reasonable fee to get to Bansko. Same with rental cars. So we now have our own little fleet of cars that we rent to members. I never know if this is really a good idea because car rental is a business where people break stuff and where you have to deal with a lot of things, but it's really useful for our members. And there's like many little examples like this. The first year when we started here 6 years ago, we had a vegan here, and we have now developed some of our suppliers to understand what is a vegan, what kind of food do they eat, where can we buy vegan cheese, for example. We now even have the barbecues, we have vegan meat patties, we have non-dairy milk in the co-working space, for example, that you can have your cappuccino with like vegan milk and things like this. So it takes like many little steps to make it really an amazing experience, and we have many members that helped us along the way, right? So I think after the first year, people started buying apartments and really committing to Bansko, which is something that this town hasn't seen before. So when I looked at the statistics, how many Europeans moved to the whole area here, before we moved here, this was like 76 people or so per year. And in the meantime, I think we are driving about 20 to 30 people every year to Bansko, buying apartments, creating companies, becoming residents. So like when you look at the statistics now, like this little town has a huge spike of what's happening. It's really attracting location independent people.
Now it's very busy here in the summer months because you have the hiking, river rafting, mountain biking, and then in the winter you have the skiing, and then in between in the spring you have a lot of different events that you're putting on, or that there's a lot of people here doing things. But in this time of the year where we're here, it's pretty quiet and dead.
Autumn.
And so even in this lull, how many people do you have hanging out here in the co-working space in this quiet time of the year?
So at the moment, I think we have 95 members as of today. End of November is kind of like our lowest, so we will drop a little bit more. But we also always have new people arriving, and sometimes I ask them, like, why do you come in November, right? It's rainy, it's cold, you can't ski yet. And people tell me it's a great place to be productive, right? So sometimes as nomads, we also get distracted by traveling too fast and too many new experiences. And for a lot of our members, it really feels like they're coming home here, right? So they can recover, recharge, focus, and then afterwards they go into the winter season where some of them go up to the mountain every single day. But sometimes you also need this like downtime just to refocus.
Now, when you do your Nomad Fest, you had 550 people. What do you average as far as the size of the community in the busier time of the years?
So we are growing every year over year. It's more and more people. Last winter season we were about like 160 people on average. I think this winter season we will probably be about 180 to 200.
Wow.
Just based on like growth predictions. In the summer we were like a little bit over 200 on the peak. So it's like interesting to see how it's really growing. And it's also funny because for me, I still remember the times when we were like 10, 15 members, right? Not too long ago, like 3 years ago, we hit our peak at 100 members and we had a big celebration that we are 100 members. And now 100 members is not really something we get excited about it, right? So we are nearly now in the lowest time, kind of there.
So you say members. What does it take to be a member? What is the cost? And can you just kind of give the sales pitch of what's being offered to the community through Coworking Bansko?
So our membership depends on how long people join us. Most people stay in Bansko around 3 months. If they take monthly memberships, it's 129 plus VAT for months, or I think like 329 plus VAT for 3 months. We also have annual memberships. We have even decade memberships. So we have people that really commit long term to our community. What they get is access to the community. So and maybe I made a mistake when I named our business Coworking Bansko, because normally when you think about co-working in a big city, it's more like office space, right? You don't want to work from home because you're distracted there, or maybe you work for a company that has an office, a team office in a co-working space. And this is absolutely not like how our community is run. So people join us because they want to be part of our community. They also bring a lot of their energy into our community. So this is not like a service office. We have people that create their own events. Like just yesterday we had a group of Italian members that created a risotto dinner for all of us, which was really nice. And so I think the special thing is really you connect with like-minded people, and Coworking Bansko is providing, of course, some facilities to make this happen. So we have indoor areas, we have outdoor areas. It's generally all about the community. So you decide to become part of this community. People also, when they leave Bansko, often travel together. We had a lot of people starting business together. We have people that found their soulmates here, making babies. So it's much more than just having access to a table and fast internet.
Wow, and you said barbecues are on Friday nights, and then board games are on Monday nights?
Yeah, so we do something basically every evening. So today, Mondays, we do board games. Tuesday evening is normally poker night. Wednesdays, we have normally a skill share in the afternoon and then a group dinner in the evening. Thursdays, we go to the hot springs in the next village. Also great experience to be with so many people like in hot water together, just be free of gravity for a while.
How far is the hot springs from here?
It's in the next village. It's like 5 minutes drive.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then Fridays we have barbecues. It's always a potluck. Like in the winter, it's a normal potluck where people bring food without a barbecue. In the summer, it's like on the barbecue outside. On the weekends, often there's mountain activities, like we go hiking. In the winter, of course, we go skiing and snowboarding. Sometimes we do excursions. Like Greece is very close, so in 2.5 hours you can be on the beach in Kavala. We can go rafting. There's many things that we can do. Plovdiv, one of the largest cities in Bulgaria, is only 3 hours away. So it's like a really good base to also explore what's around here.
Okay. So you've got this great community here doing a lot of fun things together, but if somebody does want to come here and work 4 or 5 days a week or whatever, you've got the high-speed internet and a place for them to set up their computer and take care of their functions. Correct?
Of course. I mean, I think this is also important, that this is not only like a fun social club, but people are really ambitious to work on something. A lot of them work on their own businesses, so they want to accomplish something, they want to grow their business, and they also want to pay it forward to some extent, right? So this is very interesting to see people that are a little bit further along the nomadic journey, how they help people that are just starting out. And I have seen a lot of members here that just started the journey in Bansko, and then 2 or 3 years later you see what they have accomplished, right? And this is only possible if you also can work and you can focus on your business.
And for those of you that have been sitting on the fence to retire, because we have a lot of people that are doing this right now, they're waiting to pull the trigger till they can get enough funds so that they can go retire. But maybe you're sitting at home on your computer, and maybe working abroad is something you can do. So having co-working spaces may allow you to start that journey of slow roving retirement while you're still working, and come and hang out in Bansko for a couple months and then go to another town if you've got to leave the area because of visa limitations and how long you can be here as an American. It's 90 days unless you get residency. So this is a place you can come to, and maybe sliding down to Turkey for 90 days and coming back is a good concept to bounce back and forth and have a low-cost lifestyle and a beautiful place and still be able to get your journey going.
And it isn't just 20s and 30s. You said that you actually have a member who is 85 years of age?
Yeah, and I think he's one of our more driven members. So he has many ideas. He's working on his own business. He holds a few patents.
That's remarkable.
So I think this whole idea of retirement maybe is changing a little bit, because what do you do now when you retire? So what do you do with the remaining of your life? And we have people that start writing books. We have coaches. So I think
start a YouTube channel.
You can start a YouTube channel and a media empire, right? So
Yes.
there's different things that you can do. And some of these things are better done in a community of people that are also very entrepreneurial.
Very nice.
Very cool. Well, you've got great facilities. Looks like a real lively business here. Fun business. I think probably work doesn't feel like work for you.
No, I mean, I started this more of a hobby, actually. Right, so I wanted to create a place for myself, and then at some point there were so many people showing up that I realized, okay, this has to be a little bit more serious, and maybe this is a business. But also a lot of my members, they work on things that they're really passionate about, and then I think work doesn't feel like work if you really do what you want to do. It's like this new idea of new work is basically that you do the things that really you're passionate about.
Anything that we didn't cover that you think is important for us to cover for people to understand life here?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the playground. So we have a location 4,000 square meters in the forest, which is pretty unique for a co-working space, I think, to have their own forest. We use this to have bonfires in the evening sometimes. In the summer we can go camping.
Oh, wow.
People are playing with chainsaws. I thought they would build a lot of structures. They're not building a lot of structures, but we have started construction of a cabin that we crowdfunded with some of the members that want to have more like an off-grid place where they can go on the weekends. So I think a lot of things in Bansko you just have to experience. If you just hear this, you probably wonder, why do you need a forest?
Yeah.
But once you experience, you will understand. So the best idea is come here and explore Bansko and see for yourself.
How fun.
And we are tentatively planning on swinging back through in the wintertime when
Yes.
it's more lively. Don't hold us to it yet because life changes, and we all know how that's been for the last couple of years. But right now we think we'll be back for at least a week in January at some point. So Matthias, thanks again for spending time with us. As a reminder, everybody, Julie and I, we're traveling the world with our 2 dogs. We're trying to share what it's like to live in different countries. We typically stay in a location 1 to 3 months, sharing our experiences and expenses with you. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a like. And until next time, have a great day, everybody.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.